want to get the show started by 9:30 at the latest. So I'd like to first welcome you all on behalf of the committee that organized the first of what we're hoping will be many Boomer reunions. My name is Steve Greenfield, and I'm the chair of the Boomer reunion, and I'd like to really welcome all of you. Thank you. It's really been a labor of love and a team effort. We tried to do in 4.5 months what they told us couldn't. In one sense, they were right. We were hoping to have enough time to do a full-blown stage production at the auditorium at the school and raise $20,000 or more for the Alumni Foundation. That proved to not be feasible. So the wonderful show that you're going to see tonight, the Cabaret show, which was the brainchild of Linda Baumler-Koziel, who you'll be hearing from shortly, is the kind of the plan B. So it'll give you a little bit of a taste of what you might have in store if we do a full-blown production at some time in the future. Just a quick word about why we're doing this. All of you have regularly seen the website, and we really hope that you've enjoyed it. None of us who put it together had ever done that before, but we hope you're having a good time. And one of the amazing things we're hearing is that this is not the only event that's the result of that website, which is only 4 months old and already has over 415 members. There's mini reunions going on literally all over the world. I just got an email from Southeast Asia. 3 Amherst graduates found each other there who never were able to find each other before and did through the website. So there's a lot of linking and networking going on, and we're glad to hear that. I'd like to first quickly thank some of the key organizers. Nothing like this happens without a real team effort, and this certainly has been that. I'd like to thank Linda Baumler-Koziel, the co-chair of the planning committee. And I'd like to thank Cynthia Cummings, who couldn't be here tonight, but she'll be at the Glen Park Tavern at least. And she sends her regards, and she was the other co-chair of the planning committee and the treasurer of this event. So thank you to Cynthia. I'd like to quickly thank some of the volunteers, and this is not all of them, and I hope you'll forgive me if I've left some names out. But in particular, Susan Irons-Leonard from the class of '67, who organized the greeting as you were coming in tonight. Denny Gorell, class of '64, who did these fabulous name tags. Thank you, Denny. Thanks to my wife, Pearl, who put up with more than I can tell you for the better part of a year. And of course, thanks to the wonderful cast of the show that you're about to see. They put in a tremendous amount of time and effort, and we didn't have a lot of rehearsal time, but it's going to be fabulous. And I'm talking, of course, about Don Kroll, Grant Goldman, Vicki Forbes, and her husband Abe, who's back there on the video camera and who has done a lot for us. Bob Backert, who is our folk singer and guitar player from class of '68, and Sandra Cumming, who joined us at the very first presentation for getting this approved by the Alumni Foundation, and to Terry Slavin from Arizona, from my class of '67. Couldn't be here today, but it was actually Terry's idea. He's the one who came up with the "Let's Replace the Tiger Ivy." This is how this got started, and now it's grown to include, the fundraising includes, the class of '67 is hoping that you all will join us in a new mentorship tutoring program. When we went to school, there were very few minority children in our class. We didn't have any classmates. Now there's 22% diversity, the Buffalo News had a huge article in March, is now an issue that none of us knew when we were students, and so we're hoping to link up many alumni volunteers, possibly if we can work it out, which we're in the process with Damon College education majors from across the street, and create one-on-one matches with students who are having learning disability, emotional adjustment, and other problems. And of course, because of your generosity, a lot of the funds will also go to scholarships for worthy faculty and students. And Coach Jerry Gaz from the class of '65, I want to thank him as well. He's organizing the co-ed softball game on tomorrow at Ellicott Creek Park, and is second or third winningest coach in high school baseball history. So thank you, Coach. I'd like to briefly pay tribute to all of the veterans among us. If I could have your attention, because hang on just a second. There are 4 of us who lost our lives in Vietnam. I'd like to pay tribute to them and then have a moment of silence. And they all died at the age of 21, coincidentally. Vietnam, for those of us who came of age in the 60s, together with civil rights, was an issue that no matter how we felt about these contentious issues, was a big part of our experience growing up at Amherst. And these 4 former classmates, actually 3 from Amherst and 1 from Sweet Home, where I attended junior high. I'd like to mention their names now and then ask you to just pause for a moment of silence. Specialist 4th class Robert Gopinski, class of '66, died in 1969 in Tay Ninh province. W01 David Ehrenstoff, classmate of mine in class of '67, died in 1970, helicoptering an airlift of Vietnamese soldiers in a heavy fog on the Ho Chi Minh Trail. First Lieutenant Ron Stetter, Sweet Home '64, was my best friend growing up. He was 3 years older than me, and I was his assistant newsboy, and he was the big brother I never had. And when Lieutenant Stetter died in 1968 during the Tet Offensive near Hue, my world changed forever. And we've all had transformative experiences in our own lives, whatever they are, and Ron was mine. And finally, Specialist 4th class George Ross Jr., who would have been in the class of '63, but he transferred to another school, but he died in 1967 near at An Kee province. Originally listed in the Green Berets, and then after that was up, volunteered and went back as an infantryman and died then. All at the age of 21, and I'd just like to pause for a moment of silence for our lost colleagues. I remember so fondly. I'd like to call them all up to the front at once. We have a presentation to make on all of your behalf, and so at this time I'd like to call Mort Clayman, Peter Demon, Beck Brown. Is Beck here yet? Beck? Oh, wonderful. Come on up. Please come up. Woody Friedrich, Coach McAllister, and who am I forgetting who's here? Anybody? Okay, can you all come up, please? Come on, Coach. I'm going to present the awards to all of them, and 3 additional faculty who couldn't be here today. Ginny Federico, who was a French teacher, has a bad back, had wanted to be here, sends her regards, and Don Munson, of course, our principal, who just turned 90, and wasn't able to be here today, and Walter Rice. Walter, is Walter here? We had hoped that he would be coming, but so we will get their honors to them. But first, I'd like to read you, the citation is the same for all of our beloved teachers, and then invite each of them to come up and give us a few words of wisdom and humor. First, I'm going to read what it says. From your deeply certificate of appreciation and gratitude to the name of the teacher, from your deeply thankful former students, alumni of the Amherst Central High School Boomer classes of 63, 64, 65, 66, 67, 68, 69, and 70. In recognition of your tremendous dedication and commitment to providing our generation of Amherst students with the finest high school education ever offered in the state of New York and in the United States of America. And that's a fact. And our message to you is, we've never forgotten you, and we never will. Presented on behalf of these classes at Amherst, New York, this 24th day of June, 2001. Gentlemen, we will never forget you. To first, we'll just start from right to left and introduce my former debate coach and economics teacher, Beck Brown.
I got off to an inauspicious start at Amherst as one class to teach. I was being stockpiled. 3 weeks into a very disillusioned first year of 1964, we had to go to school night. And in my class of 22 in economics, 19 parents showed up, and many of them, 19 students' parents showed up, about 40 people in total. That was a sign to me that people in this community really was serious about education. And so it is. And I just was thinking about what those students, many of you here, have accomplished over the years. I think, for example, of Melanie Kirkpatrick, whose essays I've read in the Wall Street Journal for years. There's Jim Pugash. Unfortunately, Jim passed away, one of our greatest students of all time. I opened up the New York Times Magazine one Sunday, and there he was, sitting between Mr. and Mrs. Armand Hammond. I mean, it just goes on and on. Or recently, a headline story of Jeff Gundlach, who is really the new bond king in the United States. And there was a story about him in the news recently about trying to form a group of financiers to buy the bills. A man of enormous wealth. And so on and on it goes. And I'm sure if I looked around and spoke to some of you, to many of you, they're great triumphs. And I just hope that the Alumni Association will take it upon themselves to promote those of you who have achieved so much. And we were certainly grateful to teach you. So thanks for the support.